altogether.
Okay, and then another acronym you've been talking about lately was SSD,
Yes.
which stands, I've learned, for solid state drive. And what is that again, and why would I be interested in it?
So SSD is it's a form of a hard drive. A hard drive obviously is where you store, or where your computer stores all of its information, and the storage capacity, you right now we're in like the terabytes of data. So you get different levels of hard drive based off of how much data that it can store. And the SSD is taking that hard drive, but instead of it being like a disk drive, what it used to be is HDD is a hard disk drive
Okay.
versus SSD, which is a solid state drive.
Drive.
So the difference is, if you've ever taken apart a hard drive, it looks like a little record player.
I'll take your word for that.
Um, once you take it apart, it's just like a metal disc with like a little pin that can write to the disc and it's like a little laser pin that'll just write into the discs whatever information it needs stored.
Okay, so that actually kind of correlates with a question that is further down on my list. So I have heard that when you save something on your device, whatever it is, no matter how big or small, it then is etched on the disk. And so even when you erase it or record over it, copy over it, there's still a little piece of your hard drive that is forever consumed by having saved that.
In a way, yes. So there's multiple ways computers handle memory. Some of it is more permanent than others. So both in solid state drive and hard disk drives. Back to the difference between solid state and hard disk drive, and then I'll get to that. So the hard disk drive literally has a physical disk and little laser in there etching in. Then you have a solid state drive, which is no longer having any of these moving parts. That's why they call it a solid state.
Oh, so
It's all what is called flash memory, which
it-
is essentially the same idea as your the way a
USB.
USB works, or the way a camera SD card works. That's called flash memory, which means all it does is it stores it in the module of the device, and it's in like the little processors and components that has its own memory based off of that. It's not on a disk somewhere,
Okay.
essentially. And so the problem with flash memory is it never truly erases. It like is essentially like if you think of a photo, like a photograph in the old days where you took a picture and it like flashed onto a film, and then that film was there, like that. It was. It's essentially the same thing, a similar kind of system where the the data gets imprinted in the memory, and then you can erase and save over it, but there's still some data that just never truly gets erased. But with the solid state drive, since there's no moving parts and the way it is designed, it is super fast. Like,
So this is just new technology
Yeah.
that's a different type of hard drive that's basically more efficient and more durable.
yes, exactly.
Oh, that does sound like something I would want. Everyone would want, quite frankly.
So you can get solid state drives in pretty
Oh.
much almost the same amount of memory as a regular hard drive. They're not too much more expensive. I'd say that probably for a singular hard drive, you'd spend maybe $30 more for a solid state drive.
That's okay.
And then so Yeah, like a 1 terabyte hard drive might be $70, but for a solid state drive, you're looking at $110 maybe.
Okay.
And but what you get, what is it? That really most people will oftentimes have their solid state drive as their operating system drive, because then when they open up their or turn on their computer turns on super fast, right? Because it is able to recall the data almost instantly. Then you couple that. This is a little bit more advanced. There is a solid state drive, but the connection type, instead of being a SATA connection, is direct to the motherboard. Which is, I can't remember what the acronym for it is.
You're losing me though.
But yeah, instead, so the way hard drives plug into the motherboard for your computer is like a little cable.
Remind me what the motherboard is, like the power unit?
Your motherboard is just the board where everything connects together.
Oh, okay.
And the way it connects to the motherboard is a cable. That cable has a maximum data range of 6 gigs per second.
Oh, and that can't be upgraded?
That is an upgrade from the standard version of the cable that is 3 gigs per second.
Twice as fast?
Yeah, but there's just a limit on the cable unless you make the cable thicker. I'm not exactly sure why the limit on the cable is, but if you have a direct connection to your motherboard, I think the speed is like it's ungodly fast. It's like 10 gigs per second or more. So couple that with a solid state drive, you end up getting super fast. So now